Danny Johnson here, and today we're going to start this video out with a complimentary cold start video from a new 5.0 Mustang. Shout out to Brandon B. So, if you got the joke there, that's basically what some people are experiencing, is a ticking sound coming from the engine. And so, unfortunately, and I'm a 5.0 fan, I was actually led onto this quite a bit by looking at options for a swap into my new '01 Mustang GT, new to me, my old car that I got back, and was pretty upset to see that there's so many failures happening with these new cars. And I feel really bad for the people who've gone out and spent a lot of money on a brand new car just to have these problems. But basically, we're seeing some catastrophic engine failures, from the engines just letting loose completely to cam phasers, cam issues, bottom end rod bearing issues. All kinds of things are happening with the 2017 and 18 5.0s, and there's no word yet if the 2019s have been fixed yet. Some people are thinking it was a bad batch of engines. Some are saying it's with the blocks and how they're machined. So there's no official word from Ford yet on it, because they probably don't want to admit it. But basically, if you start to hear that sound, the first thing you want to do is go into the dealership and start documenting it. So make sure you get an appointment to go in and get a record of it that says that you took the car in and it shows that it was having, that problem, because it may be the beginning of the end for your engine. If you start hearing it, you can let it go, but eventually the engine will let loose. I've seen a lot of people who've tried to take advantage of Ford's buyback program. You have to go and apply for it and everything, and get your car pretty much bought back from Ford. And I'll put some links in the descriptions of some of the videos I've seen on this. And it sounds like it's not a very good experience, and you're going to be out of your car and still have to make payments on it. And it's a very difficult process. They make it difficult. And so anyway, I'll put links into the description on that. As well, with the new 5.0 engine, especially for 18 and up, they've changed the capacity from 8 quarts up to 10. So some people have even lost a perfectly good engine by taking it into the dealership, and the tech thinks he knows that it, how many quarts of oil it takes, and shorts it by 2 quarts, and so you have some rod bearing and other failures, probably more in the valve train. But anyway, so that's happening as well, as the cars are being run on too little of oil. Now, some people have tried to claim that they can fix the tick by going to a heavier weight oil. And then you'll see that a month or so later, they'll say, well, that it didn't solve the problem. And there's 2 things I want to talk about that would worry me about going to such a heavier weight, like a 40 or a 60, like a 5W40 or 5W60, anything like that. That they're doing is, number one, BMW is having issues with this, especially on their M cars, because their M cars, I believe, take 0W60 or some heavyweight oil like that. And the problem is the oil is so thick before it warms up that it cannot get down into the rod bearings, and you'll see a lot of rod bearing failures from BMW if you research that on especially the M3s and even the M5 V10.
So here's a quick look at the BMW M Series issues that they're having. And the reason I bring it up is because a lot of people think changing the heavier weight oil is going to help, and we'll get into that a little more. And on the M's, it's a tolerance issue and also a weight issue, is my belief.
But anyway, so if you switch to such a heavier weight oil, especially now that it's getting colder, you run that risk of the oil not properly lubricating the rod bearings. Second of all, if you do this and then admit it to Ford that you're running a different oil, then if there is a problem, they're going to blame it on you and say, it says right on the cap you're supposed to use 5W20, and they have changed that too. It was I believe it was a 530 before that, before 2018. They've gone back down to a 5W20, and so if you if you go and tell them that you tried all these different things to fix it yourself, you might be shooting yourself in the foot from warranty or buyback opportunities. So you want to make sure that you do not do that. So what a lot of people are having is, and I'll show you some screenshots here of a video I was watching, is the cylinder sidewalls are just getting scarred.
And you have to ask yourself, this is a brand new car. Is it really fair to have the whole engine ripped out, have everything compromised from the air conditioning system to everything, to fix this problem? So as you'll see inside of the cylinders here, in the cylinder walls, they are scarred up pretty bad. And so this was one of the examples that you can clearly see. And what a mess to have all of your timing components and your cams and your tensioners, and everything just out on the table for a brand new car. I certainly wouldn't want that if I had put so much money into something. And this really becomes the question when people say, well, that's what a warranty is for. Well, ask yourself, is it worth it to be out of a car and still have to make payments on it and not be compensated properly? Is it worth it to have it put back together? I unfortunately have learned the hard way that what a warranty means is, well, we'll put it together how we want on our timeline, and all that means is you can bring it back and once again be on our timeline.
Some of these failures are happening with as little as 1,500 miles on the car, sometimes 3,000 miles, and sometimes the sound will start to go away and it'll come back and all that, but the point is, if you start to hear it, you want to take it straight to the dealership and have that documented. So what I have seen is what the dealership will try to do is fix the car by having you take it in and tear off the cylinder heads and try to change out new camshafts and a top end thing, when this is really more likely a bottom end issue. So you really want to watch out. If your car's under warranty and you take it, you want to plan to be out of a car for up to 1 or 2 months, is what I've heard is happening with some people. They tear the whole engine apart, and sometimes they'll just tear apart the top end, sometimes they'll replace the whole short block, sometimes put in a whole new engine. It depends on what they'll decide to do in your case. But you want to plan to be out of a car, and that's where it gets really difficult for people, because a brand new car is most likely their only car in a lot of cases. And you want to be careful as well, because you're opening Pandora's box once you start tearing an engine apart, especially at a factory level. And I don't want to say anything bad about repair shops or Ford's automotive section, but it's not going to be the same as it was put together in the factory. And so you're really at the mercy of whoever's tearing the engine apart to hope that they put it back together, back to spec, that everything's right, and you may have a problem with it after that. I've heard other horror stories of people taking the car in, and they even had to rip into the air conditioning system by mistake or as part of the process, and then ship the car off to another area to have the air conditioning serviced. And so, to me, if it was a brand new car, I would not be happy at all or satisfied with having them tear the whole engine apart just to put it back together and maybe have the problem again. And that brings up the next problem, is this is not completely resolved yet. So maybe under warranty this happens to you and they fix the problem, and then maybe it comes back, and then what's going to happen when the car has 60,000 miles on it? Now you're out of warranty, and so it's really going to be all on you. So hopefully if you have a newer 5.0 and it's under warranty, you can catch this and start documenting it before it's a problem. Maybe you roll the dice and the car never has the problem. But there's been a lot of cases that I've seen on it so far that as I've been researching it, because like I said, I've been looking at options on a 5.0 swap in the future to put into my '01 Mustang GT, my white one that I got back. And so now I'm looking at the 2011 up until the 15, 16s, and they have cam phaser issues, other minor issues, and now that we've got some more horsepower out of the 5.0 in 2018 and 19, I was getting excited about that, and now looks like I probably won't be interested in swapping that engine in as well. And not so much the 5.0, but the Mustangs for 2018 are also having shift fork issues. They're breaking quite often. So if you see some of these cars being fire saled and discounted at your dealership, you may be rolling the dice getting into one of them, and you just want to make sure that anything that happens is well documented at the dealership level. Don't be trying to change anything, and unfortunately it's going to put some handcuffs on you. You're not going to be able to modify your car and play with it too much, because any scapegoat that they're going to see and say, oh, you did this or you did that, we're going to void your warranty, that's going to be their way out of it. So unfortunately, it makes it really difficult to properly enjoy the car as you may want to. So anyway, this is what I know about the 5.0 and some of its issues. Go ahead and put in the comments if you have a 5.0 and if it's running just fine, or if you have one and are experiencing any of these issues or have gone through some of these issues. It'd be very interesting to know. Anyway, thanks for watching.